political arena, or whether it's like an arena, you think of gladiators or whatever. So, you think of these places where great battles take place. God has created arenas within our life where the great battles will take place. And I want to back up for just a second. I want to talk to you about a seed. Have you ever, how many of you, know, like a seed, like maybe a wheat kernel, or a corn kernel that grows as a plant, okay? You know about seeds, okay? You can take a seed all by itself, and I could hold it and I could put it in my pocket, and I could have it in my pocket for years and years and years, and it could do nothing. But if I took one seed out and I put it in the right place, in the right kind of dirt, with the right kind of light, and the right kind of heat, and all the right nutrients, what would it do? It would grow. Okay, so God in this world has systems He's put into place. It's morning and then it's night. It's morning and then it's night. It's morning and then it's night. It's winter and then it's spring and then it's summer and then it's fall and then it's winter. He has the total systems. And do you know what those systems are in place for? To sustain your physical body. Have you ever thought of it that way? God went to that much effort to put into place all of these microscopic and cosmos systems just to sustain our humans' physical bodies. If He put that much care and that much detail, that much thought into what was required to maintain the health of your body, don't you think He would also put that much thought and that much creativity into what can maintain and sustain your spirit? What can grow your spirit in love? Arenas. We're full of arenas. And I'm gonna take that concept of what God has done for like the seed or for to sustain our body, and I want to focus it in on some of this concept of arenas, all of these places within your life. Every single arena within your life is about helping you to learn how to love people. And it starts the day you're born. If you have siblings, your siblings are an arena. That's why I can't stand it if my kids fight with each other. It's like, learn it now. Learn to love each other now. Learn to give unconditionally now. When your sister really makes you mad, what does the Bible say about that? Don't respond in anger. Okay? So what I'm talking about, these arenas are relationships. They're arenas. It could be the workplace. Everybody has a workplace of some kind. The home. The marriage. And every one of those arenas has different rules to it. My children has a different set of rules for how I am to show them love, and what is required of me to love, and what it will do to my heart and change my heart in order to live up to the standard of the rules of that arena. Okay, this is big. So I'm gonna say it again. Try to be more clear. I'm going to use children as an example. When you have children, something begins to happen. You begin to have an attachment to that child. When that child is born and they start crying in the middle of the night, guess what? You have to get up and feed them. And your flesh goes, I will not. And it looks at your husband and he's still asleep. You're like, I'm the one with, we're being filmed, okay. But you're it. You're it. The rules of that arena are that you are to cherish, you're to take care of the physical needs of that child. So if you rise, if you obey the rules that are within that arena, what will happen is that your flesh will die a little bit in order to be obedient to the rule of the arena. Does this make sense? Are you following this? Okay. So with your children, if you have children, some of you don't yet, that's okay, you will.
Yeah.
Or Maybe you won't. But you'll have one of these other arenas. But, okay, if you have a child and you have to, and then it's like, okay, then it's stuff like this. With your kids, it's like, okay, now all of a sudden they threw up all over my clothes while I was at church. I'm embarrassed. There's all these emotions that flood in. I want to just give this baby to somebody else. But what happens is every time that child challenges your flesh, it is a battle, isn't it? I mean, we don't think about it that way, but here's the deal. God ordained it that way. He gave you that arena and the rules that govern it on purpose in order to change, to kill your flesh. Does that make sense? In order to demand that you face your flesh and that you say no to it and that you embrace His love. That you make the choice towards Him. So here's what begins to happen with your babies. You start just being like, oh, I can't believe it. They're crying again. And what do? You get up. But after a couple seconds, you're like, okay, oh, little baby, oh, And then you take care of your baby and you feed it and you give it the bottle. And then you fall asleep and you drop it in your lap. And it wakes up and cries. But that happens to all of us, right? So, but all I'm saying is that these different arenas, this is not by accident. When we deal with our siblings, if you have siblings and there's 2 children, from the time my kids are little, it's like if they start to argue with each other, it's like, what is it? It's the parents' responsibility to make sure that these children are trained up in the love of God. And so when there's not love flowing between those kids, I tell my kids, it's better to learn it now. Learn what real love is. And I tell my kids that if they're kids that, well, she's pushing my buttons. I said, then you say, glory be to God for my buttons being pushed, because that means there's something out of line in me. It's an opportunity. I tell them it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to hold your tongue. Or if it's an opportunity for you to grow in the things of God. Now, I don't think it's right for someone to just get walked all over, beat up, or that's not what I'm talking about. So that whole part of the argument you can just set aside over here, because what I'm talking about is very real. And you know what I'm talking about. When you're at the workplace, when you're dealing with in-laws, when you're dealing with your marriage, all of these different areas of your life, all of these different arenas are designed, but not to torment you. See, Satan, standing on his platform, wants to come up behind our ear and whisper in our flesh and say, this is really horrible, and the rules God made for this arena are terrible. I said, so most of the time, another one of these arenas is our church community. Another arena, can be, I don't know. I had one and then it ran out of my mind. But anyway, each of these situations, what Satan does is he comes up to our flesh and he says, isn't this really lovely? You don't really want to die in this area, do you, flesh? And so he says, you know what? Run. And so we bail. Friendships, that was the one I was thinking of. Friendships. We bail. We don't get along with our siblings. We don't get along with our church people. We don't get along, okay? We bail. We run away out of these arenas. It's easier just not to call my brother. He's in Arizona. I just won't call him. Better that than have an argument with him. And all of a sudden, because of our pride, we're jumping around. And the problem is that we keep going in life and going in life. And the more we've jumped out of these arenas, these God-given arenas, trying to jump out of this church into a different one that makes us feel better, out of this friendship into a different one that makes us feel better. The problem is, most of the time I'm going to suggest to you that the problem goes with us. And that is what God is trying. You see, it's not like, come and stay within this arena so that I might torture your flesh. Well, if you want to see it that way, you can. Stay in the arena. Face it straight on. Know that there's a battle waging for your soul and the dominance of your heart. And choose love. Choose love.